A lot of churches, nonprofits, and other organizations have good day-to-day maintenance, but they don't have a facility maintenance plan. The difference is they might be able to get the day-to-day stuff done, but there's not a big picture or a long-term plan. There's a big difference between those. They're both very important and they're both needed. But the day-to-day stuff takes care of, like I said, the day-to-day, but the big picture is the planning part. It's the part that helps you budget, it helps you plan for your future, it helps you retain staff, grow. These are the things that have to happen for a good facility maintenance plan. Hi, I'm Dustin Kirby with Foundational Facility Management Consulting, and today I wanted to talk to you about fractional facility management. So you're probably wondering, what is fractional facility management? Fractional facility management is using a facility management company to do remote facility management for your organization. So, as I said, they're working remote. Most fractional facility management plans do involve the company coming on site at least a couple of times a year. They should do that so that they know your facility, but they will be working remotely and they will put together your entire facility maintenance plan customized to your particular site and your resources. That's very important that it's customized for you. So you will have senior level expertise in facility management at a fraction of a cost of having an in-house facility manager. So you're thinking, well, where would this apply? Churches, organizations, nonprofits that this would apply for are maybe ones that are in that in between where they don't have it in their budget to hire a facility manager on staff. Maybe they've got some facility techs or some janitorial techs, and maybe they work with some volunteers or they have contracts with vendors that do some of the maintenance for them, but they just don't have in the budget for that facility manager. This is one of the signs that, hey, this could be for you. Another sign is you want long-term planning. Maybe you've busted your budget in the past with unexpected large expenses or asset replacement. Maybe you just want to be able to plan out, hey, this is what we can expect maintenance-wise over the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years. Like, this is an opportunity for you to get senior level expertise helping you plan this out. It's also a good indication that this could work for you if you are working off reactive maintenance versus proactive maintenance. What that means is basically when something happens, you react to it. A lot of times your staff will get good at being quote unquote firefighters, which basically means, hey, here's an issue, and we are quickly able to jump on it, address it, fix it, and be able to move forward. And you want your staff to be able to do that. That's a great asset for your team. When it becomes a problem is when that is your constant go-to. Over time, it burns out your staff. It does not allow for any big picture planning time. It does not allow for any proactive time. So then as time goes on, this builds up. Your staff is stressed. Things start getting missed. It becomes a big deal. Instead, what you want is a proactive approach. That's where, hey, you're doing preventive maintenance. So you are reducing by a lot the amount of unexpected emergency responses. They will still happen. This is facility management, and inevitably you will still have some emergencies, but you can drastically reduce it. You can also reduce your costs over time because emergency repairs definitely cost more. The other thing that emergency repairs do is, besides costing more financially, they are definitely an opportunity cost. For example, hey, these emergencies seem to happen when you've got your big event going on, when you've got your Sunday service going on, when something is happening, and there will be first time attenders or new people. And you know what? We want them to be able to come and fellowship, listen to your service. We want them to be able to enjoy that instead of come in, have the air broken on a 95-degree day, everyone's sweating and uncomfortable, and they're thinking about how uncomfortable they are. As the saying goes, first impressions are important. So this is definitely something that also happens with emergencies. We want to reduce that. So as I said, we want to be proactive. So if any of those things fit you, fractional facility management might be for you. What fractional facility management is not is also important though. So we talked about a little bit about what it is. You're getting senior level leadership. They're building out a complete plan for you, but what is it not? So your fractional facility management company is not an on-site facility manager. They're also not physically doing the repairs. Your team or your vendors, who they will help guide, will be doing those. They're not your emergency service. They will help you set up an emergency response plan, who to call, the vendors who you would contact, all of that, but your team would still be doing that. They're not an architect and an engineer. They are a qualified, should be certified facility manager that is going to help you customize a facility management plan that your team can follow and execute over and over again. So those are some of the things to keep in mind. So what can fractional facility management help with? What am I getting from this? So you're going to get a lot. You're going to get a customized facility management plan for your particular facility, or if you've got multiple sites, facilities. So this is something, as I had said before, that is customized for you and your resources. You know, someone can provide you the best plan possible that has every single detail on there, but if you don't have the resources to execute it, it's not a good plan for you. This plan has to be customized for you particularly, and you will get the condition, the current condition of your building assets and the building itself. This is very important. From this information, your fractional facility management company will be able to list out the expected life cycle of your assets. What that means is when your assets will need to be replaced. So, for example, every asset has an expected life cycle. Whether it's your roof, whether it's your air conditioning condenser, it has an industry standard expected life cycle, how long it will last. So depending on your climate, geographically where you're at, and what you're using will depend on the life cycle. For example, an asphalt roof versus a metal roof, you will have a different expected life cycle. But let's say that you've put a roof on your church and that should last 20 years. Now, this is something that will be built into your facility maintenance plan. So you will see when that asset is expected to reach the end of its life cycle. The nice thing is this will do a complete list of all of your assets. So you will see when each asset is expected to reach the end of its life cycle. You will see, okay, next year, 2 years, 5 years from now, these assets are the ones that are going to need to be replaced. Can assets fail prematurely or outlive their expected life cycle? The answer is yes to both of those. Most often, if they fail prematurely, it's because of poor or no preventive maintenance. And most of the time, when they exceed their life cycle, it's because proper preventive maintenance has been performed. Sometimes some people will mistake that something exceeds its life cycle for a good thing and they did no maintenance, but they keep pouring money into it. That's not a good thing. That's a sunk cost. That's whenever there was no facility maintenance plan to basically log the maintenance history of that asset. If you do, you would see, okay, this has approached the end of its life cycle, and maybe over the last couple of years, this asset has needed 7 large repairs. Sure, you just keep pouring money into it and keep pouring money into it, and you're thinking, wow, our asset has outlived its expected life cycle. But if you actually use that data, because data is information, if you use that data, you will see, oh, when it reached its end of its expected life cycle, we should have replaced it. In the couple years we extended it, we have spent enough money on repairs that we could have purchased a brand new asset. That's an extreme case, but that's why we want to keep track of the maintenance history, and we want this data. You're also going to get a complete preventive maintenance plan for your assets. So as I had said before, you'll get the condition of your assets, which means you'll have a complete inventory of all of your assets. This is very important. So whether you use a CMMS, that's what we call in the industry, it's short for computerized maintenance management system, or you just use, maybe you just use a spreadsheet to track your assets and your work order history. It depends on what your resources are and what you can spend. I would definitely suggest a CMMS. Some people go in between the CMMS and the spreadsheet and use like a task management system, such as maybe an Asana, and we set up for them all of their assets in there. It's not exactly designed the same, but if that's the route that you have to go, we can help you with that. So what the principle is, though, is you want an accurate inventory of all of your assets wherever you keep it. When an asset has reached the end of its life cycle and is replaced, you don't just delete that information. You want to make sure that you put it in a deactive state. So you can go back to that information. You can see past history. Maybe you're thinking, hey, 3 years down the road, I don't remember what that was, that air conditioner, the condenser, but it seemed to have less issues than any of our current ones. You will still have that information, so you can look back and you can use the same make and similar model so that you get basically the same results. Or maybe you learn that that did not work for your facility and you never want to use that again. Okay, go to that deactivated asset and you can still see the information. You definitely want to do that. You also want to take that new asset that replaces the old asset and add it to your inventory. Always keep an accurate inventory of your assets. You can't have a preventive maintenance plan if you don't know what you're maintaining. So make sure that you add that in, because the preventive maintenance plan, what it is it is a set of recurring work orders that will be designed according to the assets that you have in your building. So, for example, based on your assets, recurring work orders will populate in your system weekly, monthly, quarterly, biannually, or annually, whatever is needed. Changing filters in HVAC units, keeping your drain lines cleared for your AC condensers, or just for your regular drain lines. Making sure that you pressure wash your concrete flat work and soft wash your roof so often. So depending on your assets, we would create a preventive maintenance plan that these work orders pop up at the proper time. Then your staff or your volunteers or your vendors would complete those, and we would mark them completed. So this is very important. You would get all of that. You would also get as I had said before, a capital replacement plan for your facility assets. No longer would these surprise replacements come up for assets that blow your budget constantly. You'd be seeing ahead of time, hey, in the next 5 years, these particular assets are expected to reach the end of their life cycle. And then along the way, we're keeping track of that and watching that, and we can get a gauge on, hey, this particular asset looks like it might not even reach its expected life cycle, or these assets might extend past their expected life cycle, which allows us to spread the cost of replacing them over a wider range of years accordingly. So we would also help you establish a vendor management plan. This is very important. I see time and time again that organizations will have vendors, contracts with vendors to come in and do some maintenance. Now, that's great. And a lot of vendors are absolutely outstanding. And honestly, they're a great addition to your team. But there are those vendors that either accidentally or on purpose are not performing what you have agreed to in the contract. A vendor management system keeps track of that. It rates your vendors. It calls for regular communication. After all, you're paying a professional. You would like to get professional advice from them. So, of course, they're going to be doing the task that you need, but you also want to know, hey, they're seeing this or that on the assets that they are maintaining. You definitely want that. You also want to know when they're coming in and out of your building, because inevitably, you don't want it to come to this, but hey, we've been maintaining all year long. No one's seen them. So it's your word versus theirs. You want them signing in and signing out when they're at your facility. That's a very good practice to have, and it does allow you to see when they're in there, and you can ask them what they're in there for. But that's definitely part of the program that you would get. So, okay, so why would this be a good fit for my church or my organization? So, a lot of organizations might have the budget for a maintenance tech, but maybe not for a facility manager, a certified facility manager that knows how to build a long-term facility maintenance plan. So instead of paying that, you can pay a fraction of the price and have a fractional facility management company be a part of your team. They're going to be working with you to build and design and implement this system. So whether you work with them for a 1-year contract or they become part of your team for the foreseeable future, you have this process. This is going to also create a workflow for your team. So whether it's your volunteers or your staff, they know, and your contractors, they know what is expected of them. The quickest way to lose volunteers is to have them come in and then do not have easy directions for them to follow and have a list of what they need to do. They come in and find that they're standing around, they feel that they're not needed. Another frustrating thing I've seen is for both parties is if you have staff and you are seeing them standing or sitting around too much. Most of the time, it's not that they don't want to be working, it's that they don't know what to do. Maybe they're used to, hey, waiting for something to break, and then they try and quickly address it. This preventive maintenance system creates work orders, so regular inspections, regular assessments, regular preventive maintenance, so that it's a workflow system that your staff will be following. It will keep them busy. So, hey, you know your staff is working and your staff is much happier because they don't have to guess what to do each day. They actually have a system they're following. This program will also help extend the life cycle of your facility assets, thereby reducing your long-term cost and reducing the number of emergency expenditures and emergency responses. So these are things that will really help you down the road. So whether it's, hey, I want to use this as a Band-Aid to get us through the next couple of years, and then you want to hire an in-house facility manager, or hey, I would just like to partner with a professional going forward. We can handle the day-to-day tasks, but we don't know how to build a system and maintain it. That's where fractional facility management can really be helpful. So, what would you look for in a fractional facility manager? One thing you want to make sure of is that you're getting a company that wants to partner with you. Yes, they are not in your facility every day, but they are an integral part of your team. If they're not looking at it as your success is the goal, then they're not the right fit for you. So you do not want this business relationship to be transactional where, hey, here's the plan. You guys just complete this. Call me when you have questions. No, you want this to be a back and forth. You want it to be a relational thing where the fractional facility management company's goal is your success, where you feel comfortable reaching out to them for questions or their advice or opinions on things. Maybe down the road, you're looking at adding on to your church and you're wondering per square foot what the maintenance cost will be so that you can plan accordingly. Or, hey, do you have any advice on what assets seem to be working well in our church that we could put in the new addition as well? There's many other questions, but you want someone that feels like they're part of your team, that has a vested interest in your success. So I hope today you learned a little bit more about fractional facility management and whether that would be something for you or not. But if you would like to learn more, you could definitely schedule a consultation with Foundational Facility Management Consulting, and we would be happy to answer any further questions or help guide you a little bit further down the path and see if it's the right fit for you. So I hope that this has been helpful. Once again, Dustin Kirby from Foundational Facility Management Consulting, and I hope you have a great day.